Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Cody. I'm back here with another video on my channel. So today I'm going to be comparing Valorant to CSGO. No face cam for this video. I just wanted to kind of talk about this over some gameplay, and I don't really have anything written up either, so I'm just going to kind of go off of my head on this one. So it's safe to say I've played each game a good amount. I have about 200-ish hours on CSGO, and I've been playing Valorant basically since the beta launched. I think I got it 2 or 3 days after the beta actually launched, so I have pretty good experience on both games. So the first topic I'm going to get into is just having like a ranked system. I know it's in the works for Valorant still, but I myself have just been enjoying playing CSGO a little bit more right now, just because there's actually something to grind for rather than just playing unrated games all day, and that just kind of gets really tedious after a while. Just playing unrated games without having like any sort of grind to it or like reason to actually play it. So I found myself playing CSGO a lot more on stream or just like off stream too, just playing CSGO, playing ranked, just because it's like actually something to grind for rather than on Valorant just playing unrated games when 90% of the time I get matched up with trolls or just people who make the other person's experience bad. But like on CSGO, I haven't played ESAA or Premium Face It. I really just use Free Face It just because just the anti-cheat alone makes the game a lot more enjoyable, for me at least. Like matchmaking CSGO is just not good or not really fun because 9 times out of 10 you're matched up with hackers or people that, again, just trolls. So when I do play CSGO, I'm usually on Face It. So yeah, I just think like in that aspect, CSGO is just really just more entertaining to play right now, at least until Valorant Ranked comes out, because they still haven't released a date for Valorant Ranked. It's still just in the works. But they said when the game first initially launched, it'll release in a few patches. And by the way, it seems they're releasing a patch like every other week, so who knows when we'll actually get ranked. I'd be hoping it's soon, just because I'm not alone when people say that the game just feels kind of dry and not really worth to play right now. The next thing I want to get into is just overall gameplay. I think the hitboxes in CSGO were always broken, and I believe they always will be broken, because there's times where I'll be playing like a deathmatch server or just even in like a face-it game, and I'll take like a shot and my crosshair was on his head, you know, like my first initial shot was on his head, I wasn't moving or anything, but then it would say that I just did not hit him even though it showed blood when the bullet registered and hit him, but it shows that I didn't even touch him. And the hitboxes in Valorant are a lot better. I think they're a little bit more forgiving than that, because like when you hit shoulders up, it's a headshot. It's not a head is a head, but that's just one thing that I don't think is really balanced about the game. Valorant is a very unbalanced game, and I think it'll always be unbalanced just because it's not for the competitive FPS player, even though people make it seem like it is the most competitive FPS, but it's really not. It's really geared towards people that have never really played FPS games. That's how, I don't want to say Overwatch pros have bad aim, but that's how Overwatch pros have kind of been able to adapt, having subpar aim and still being able to succeed in the game. But I know that Riot is really working on the hitboxes, because I know when the beta first launched, the hitboxes were insanely big. So realistically, you could shoot outside of the person and still get like a hit or a headshot. But I would hope that Riot kind of addresses this and makes the hitboxes a little bit less forgiving. I don't want to say more like CSGO, because the CSGO hitboxes aren't forgiving at all, but I would want to see a little bit tighter of a hitbox. And I'm going to say this, and I know a lot of people may or may not agree with me, but I truly believe that Valorant is basically just an easier version of CSGO when it comes to gunplay. I know they addressed this at launch and made it a little bit less RNG in Valorant with the sprays, with the weapon sprays, but I still feel like at times that it's just too random, so I can't really learn my spray patterns like I did in CSGO. So we'll take the Vandal versus the AK for example, just because they're basically the same gun. So the AK on CSGO, it goes up and to the right, so you can just keep going down and to the left to control it. But with Valorant, it really is your first 6 or something shots, I believe it's 6, they're all the same. But after 6 shots, it's kind of random, and the spray just goes straight up on those first initial 6 shots. And I know this is really a subjective answer, but I think that having RNG in an FPS game, no matter how small the RNG actually is, it's not good for the competitive environment of a game that is supposed to be a super competitive tactical shooter. And I also want to talk about the op and the operator. You can use the op in CSGO as an offensive or a defensive gun, but I feel like in Valorant you really can't use the op as an offensive gun, just because in CSGO, I don't know, 90% of you have probably played CSGO at one point in your life if you're watching this video. The op in CSGO instantly scopes whenever you right click, but with the operator in Valorant, there's like a whole animation, kind of like how Call of Duty quickscoping, how the gun has to come up to your eye before you can even see through the scope. And this very well might never get touched or changed. The operator in Valorant it's a more defensive weapon. It's more for holding angles and just trying to get people to peek on you, since the scope in time is super slow, and I just really don't seeing it being changed though. I feel like it will always be super slow and more on the defensive side, because we've seen with a lot of the maps in the game right now, the 4 maps that are in the game, I think more than half of them are CT oriented, so it's a lot harder to push onto some of these maps unless you're 5 stacking the bomb sites. Because I was playing on, I believe, Split. I want to say it was Split, and these guys were just 5 stacking everywhere and they were just pushing through us. So unless you're really 5 stacking, which if you watch a good amount of the pro games, I know I've watched a few of them. I watched the Twitch Rivals EU game. I didn't watch the NA. I was streaming during that time. So on the EU Twitch Rivals, they weren't 5 stacking really at all on pushing onto a site. And I feel like really that's the only way you're going to be able to actually plant bombs consistently. Because I know on Split, how we were playing it was we had 1 person on B site, 1 person in B heaven, 1 person vents, and then 2 people on A, 1 on heaven, 1 holding the angle from CT. I feel like it would be very boring to just watch people 5 stack B and then just have the defense get obliterated in an instant because they're pushing 5v2 and there's really nothing you can do. So I feel like that would be something that's really never going to be addressed. I honestly don't know how I got into talking about this, but I just feel like for the average person who's just watching an esports event, because it's gonna turn into a major esport, this game. I don't know how big it's gonna get, if it will surpass CSGO in that state. But for your average person who's played the game a good amount, I don't see myself watching a lot of competitive Valorant games really anymore, just because of how boring the games are to watch. It's not like CSGO where you got the hero plays, you got the insane one-taps and everything. Like, yeah, we're gonna get our one-taps, we're gonna get our fair amount of hero plays, but you're not gonna see like a lot of the most memorable moments in CSGO happen in Valorant. It's just not gonna happen. And also, I feel like in mostly every competitive game, most of the time people are just running the same comps against each other, which really makes for an even more boring experience for the viewer watching a competitive game and just have the same five agents played on both sides. That just goes to show how broken 90% of the agents actually are. But it seems that Riot is doing a pretty good job at nerfing these agents that are said to be overpowered, just making them like less effective. Because I know in the beta, especially in ranked, I was getting put up against a lot of Raze players, which most likely just means they're all solo queues, because that's all really Raze is good for, is just solo queuing and entry fragging, really. And she was broken in the beta. She had her C4, I don't know exactly what they're called, but she had her C4 that she could just literally blast up on, and her ultimate is broken, her Roomba broken. It's basically just more information that you can get from a character that's not even supposed to be giving information. And then her grenade is just way too strong. I can't count how many times I've died to that grenade just because I thought I was out of the way enough, and then it ends up doing like 70-80 damage to me. I just don't really understand the balance in that. But I think they did nerf her at one point, and because I really don't see her that much anymore when I play on rated games. I don't know if that's just because she's a less popular agent now, but like right now in the game, Breach is broken. Breach is one of the most broken characters in the game. I've personally haven't played Breach yet, and I really don't want to, just because he really doesn't fit my playstyle. Same as Brimstone, they really don't fit my playstyle. I see myself as more as an aggro player, entry fragger, so I like to play Phoenix, Reyna, and Jett a lot, and I'll play Sage if I have to. I used to Sage main in the beta, and then I just figured out that she really didn't fit my playstyle, so I ended up having like 20 to 40 kills. I did drop a 40 bomb in the beta on Sage. I was having 20 to 40 kills on a character that really shouldn't even be getting that many frags to begin with. I do think Riot will address this sooner rather than later, just to keep the competitive energy of their game up and where they want it to be. The next topic I really want to get into is just the viewing angle from like an esports perspective. Like I said before, I probably won't be watching a lot of big events. You know, if there's like a major or something, yeah, I might tune in and watch a little bit of it, but I don't see the point in it, because the games are so boring and so monotonous, to the point where each team is really just doing the same thing against each other, and it's who's gonna get like lucky enough, basically who's gonna get lucky enough to get a frag off of what they're doing. So, and especially compared to CSGO, so the angle I want to look at this is a person who's never played the game before. If you're watching a CSGO major, right, you know exactly what's happening. Okay, a smoke is being thrown, and a molly is being thrown, you know, it's very clear what is happening in the game. With Valorant, you have all these orbs being thrown and these random smokes being thrown down. I just don't see the normal person who, you know, plays the game casually, or the person who's never played the game before and just saw this on their Twitch homepage, actually enjoying and knowing what's actually going on in the game. I just don't think it's going to be very appealing to people who have never played the game before, or people that play the game super casually and they're not really into FPS games. You know, I could watch a CSGO major forever. There's all the hero plays and everything. I know I mentioned that before, but there's the hero plays. There's just a lot going on, but you know exactly what's going on at all times. And the final thing I want to touch on is skins. I know this is kind of a different thing to talk about between the two games, since there's a whole marketplace for skins on CSGO on Steam. But I believe that the Valorant skins are way too expensive. Paying $71 for a skin bundle that is, yeah, they look good. I would definitely buy them, but I'm not paying $71 for in-game skins. Where on CSGO, you can get yourself a very good skin inventory for less than $50. But there's always going to be the argument that, oh, CSGO has $1,000 skins and $800-something knives, but Valorant doesn't give us the option to resell our skins. So say you buy a skin on Valorant, but then a few weeks later down the road, you don't like it anymore, or you want to get a different skin, you can't do anything with it. It's just gonna sit in your inventory. I just don't think it's like viable to buy a $71 skin, or a $71 skin bundle, where on CSGO I can get myself a full inventory of skins for less than $50. Because if you go on the Steam marketplace, you can find pretty good skins for less than $5 on like really good weapons. I know myself, I really don't have that many skins on CSGO. I recently got into skins not too long ago, because I was always the person that was like, oh, I'm never gonna spend money on cosmetics, never on CSGO. I have found myself like wanting skins now. I have an AK skin, I have a AWP skin, M4A1 skin, and a Deagle skin, because those are really the main weapons that I use. And I got my AK skin for like less than $7, my Deagle skin for I think less than $2 actually, and my AWP skin was like less than $5, I believe, or $5, and my M4 skin was like $6. So that in total, that's at less than $30, and I got 4 skins, the same amount of skins that come in a Valorant bundle. You know, I know people are all about saying, oh, you need to support the devs. Well, they don't need support. It's Riot Games. They have League of Legends, you know? People don't buy skins to support the devs. They buy skins because they want to buy skins, not to support the devs. That company has a lot more money than they know what to do with. And that's not a topic I really want to get into, just because I don't know a lot about that topic. But I just don't see the point in buying $71 skin packs. And even the just normal skins that are in the store on the bottom row, I haven't seen one that's less than 800 like Valorant points. That's $8 for a skin that they don't believe belongs to be in a bundle, which means that's kind of like a tier 2 skin. You know, having the bundles be like a tier 1, having the the $10, the $11, $12 skins be tier 2, and having the 800 skins be like a tier 3, you know? So my conclusion on this video is just that I believe that right now, in the current state of each game, I believe that Valorant is the easier version of CSGO. I hope this will change down the road, maybe before the esports scene fully emerges and takes over, because eventually Valorant will kill CSGO. I'm a firm believer that it eventually will, if they make the right changes to the game, if they don't just let the game rot and stay unbalanced forever. But if they do just let it stay unbalanced forever, I could see a lot more people, myself included, going back to CSGO, because I've been playing it on stream. The link to my Twitch stream will be in the description. We just hit affiliate, but I've been playing a good amount of CSGO on stream, and I'm having so much fun with it. And then I'll switch back onto Valorant because someone told me to go back on Valorant, and I'll be like, so can I go to CSGO? Can I go back to CSGO now? You know, I'm just not having a lot of fun just playing unrated games for hours upon end. So that's my take on each game. The title of this will probably be like Valorant versus CSGO. I hope you guys enjoyed me just talking with this gameplay in the background. Make sure you check out my social medias. The links to those will be in the description. Also, use my code. It'll be on the screen right now at Rogue Energy. You get a percentage off for your order just by using my code. And make sure you also come check out my Twitch. I know I mentioned it before, but we recently just hit affiliate on Twitch. So if you want to drop by, drop a follow. I'm not even going to ask for a sub, but if you feel the need to sub, you can. But yeah, I just hope you guys have an awesome day. just keep grinding the games. You know, eventually Valorant will get better. But peace out, guys.